they kind of like aren't bringing new people on right now because they're kind of, some of their money's a little tied up. Some of the people can't settle out. So, dude, that looks really good, man. Just stay focused on that. I think we'll be good. You know,
cool, will do.
Cool, man.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Awesome. I mean, great deal. Everybody's asking. So, how's everybody doing? We had all the same people from earlier. So, what we can do, since I don't want to teach the same thing twice to the same people, let's go to open Q&A and any questions, anything I can help with. Like, what are you struggling with right now? What do you feel like your big thing is? You know, then maybe we can walk through that a little bit.
Hey, Mike, I got a quick question. It's really what I'm struggling with. So I'm at the house and I did what you said, and I cut some holes in the drywall. Peter doesn't know that, so hopefully this is the first time he knows. The air condition, the ductwork. Now that's soaked in water from the condensation. How do you prevent that from happening? So like the French drain, it's not wet above the French drain. It seems like there's one spot, and because of the layout of the basement, it's kind of just running along the 2x4. So how do you prevent that condensation from building up so bad?
Oh, is that where it's getting wet from? You're saying it's like condensation coming off the ducts and then running down the walls?
That's what it appears to be, because we got one ductwork that kind of runs the whole length of the wall.
Well, why don't we see if Petey's going to keep you as a partner first now you cut those holes in the wall, because I feel like he might be divorcing you. He did not get approval of that. That's coming out of your end of the deal, he said. All right. No, I'm just messing with you. You had to do it anyhow, Petey. Don't get upset. You kind of probably would have been the best thing to do.
No, we're good here.
There's a decent chance that I can drop by tomorrow and just look at it, or if you want to FaceTime and see if we can try to look at it now. But I feel like it might require me actually like putting eyes on it, because these are so difficult to really understand. I don't even always understand, but I could probably investigate a little bit better and try to get.
Hey, can you turn your camera on, Billy?
Yeah, camera on. Let's see if
I got like 2% battery. I'm horrible with it.
Well, let me hit you with a text, and let me stop by tomorrow, because I'm going to be out and looking. So let me look at my calendar real quick, because I think I'm going to be in your area looking at deals anyhow.
Yeah, because like above the French drain is dry, so it's not coming from above the French or the waffle board.
And where is it wet? Where is it wet? Below?
It's between the waffle board and the 2x4 that would have caught the sheetrock. So it's like it's getting in one spot and then just kind of following that trench.
Yeah, let me take a look at it though and just see, because I mean I'll probably have obviously a deeper understanding of it.
Right.
It just might be easier.
But even from the condensation standpoint, how do you prevent?
I'll ask my guy. I've run into that before. There is a way to prevent it. I forgot what it is.
Gotcha.
We also have been running our AC for like a long time because it's been pretty hot in the property.
Yeah, so if you're running that real hard, and that could make him do that. But there is something I think you can wrap it with, or something that'll do it. There's something. It usually is when like it's hitting like, so the AC is super cold, and when the room is super hot, then sometimes it'll do that. So that should be fixable though, or there's something to do. I forgot what he told me. So I can come by tomorrow, but I'd have to come by kind of early. I don't know if you guys are. I mean, I can just come by and look even if you're not there, but.
I mean, I can be here whenever. I mean, if it's early, I can be here whenever.
Probably like 9 o'clock or something.
Gotcha. Yeah, I should be able to get here then.
All right. That works for me.
I appreciate it, Mike.
I feel like it might just be hard for me to give you good advice, and I don't want to like send you down a weird path and it be all messed up.
All right. I understand.
So I might give you bad advice when I come there. So I just don't it's definitely not like something, most of the stuff I tell you, I'm pretty certain about, but I don't know how certain we can get with this. It might just be some deductive reasoning and a little bit of like educated guess. So I feel like if I'm gonna have to make an educated guess, I don't really like doing that often, but if I'm going to do it, let's get there and get as much information as possible. So I'll make the best educated guess.
Gotcha. That works.
So that's the main reason I want to come, because I feel like it'd probably increase my chances of not like looking like a goofball.
Yeah. I understand. Thank you.
So, all right, we'll take care of that tomorrow. How about anyone else? I seen that we had Nancy on for a bit, and she just, I don't know, she disappeared, or she had like a video or something. Oh, cool. She'll stop back in a second. Anyone else? Anything I can help with, or any new data? I don't know, Kim, if you came up with any new data, or if anyone just wants to share. Marlo, you were asking a question about flooring, weren't you, earlier?
Oh yeah. No, I mean, it was about painting, but I think I have a better handle on that. We ordered flooring, so it should be on the way. But we won't get that done until painting is done.
But did
I have a
they
question
tell you
about
how
like
long?
the
Did he
driveway.
tell
We're
you
trying
how
to figure
long?
out.
Did he tell you how long it would take?
For the flooring?
Yeah. When will we hear?
Yeah. Yeah, they were able to source it from like 2 stores. He was trying to bring it in like the next day, like tomorrow. I said we weren't ready for it,
Cool.
so they're gonna ship it.
Cool. So you'll
Get it
have
to
it
us on
when
Saturday.
you need it. Perfect. You'll have it when you need it.
Saturday.
That's awesome. So that's good.
Yeah.
Then that's perfect.
Yeah, he was really. Josh was really good.
That's what I was wondering,
he
because
helped
Tanya
us
was
out a
like,
lot.
he couldn't get it for a while, and he usually can make anything happen if he just has to work some magic. Okay, cool.
Definitely.
So everybody knows what we're talking about. Josh is our lumber liquidators guy, and we have a deal right now set up for some click together hardwood. It looks really nice, and it's like $1.89. It's pretty solid. It's in stock, which is awesome, because right now, like Wood Floors Plus is actually heavily connected to China. That's where I get all the really good deals from. So a lot of their carts or crates, like containers coming from China with wood, aren't coming through because of COVID and everything. So that's why Wood Floors Plus you're seeing like real low inventory right now, because they do buy all that stuff from China. So it is supporting crazy stuff. I don't know if the carpet, I mean, they don't sell as much carpet, but they have plenty of wood, by the way. I'm just noticing that they have plenty of wood, but all the wood they have now is staple down. Nobody buys staple down wood anymore. They buy all click together, because it's kind of hard to even get the gun to staple it down. So I noticed when they had all the staple down, I'm like, I don't even know why they would have staple down anymore. And they basically had like one click together, and that was it. So normally it's got like 8 to 10 to pick from, and I got like one, which just suggests that they're having container problems. I've been working with them for like 20 years, because I used to own a flooring store, and they had these problems in the past where, like, if there's any issues with China, their inventory goes down, because they can't get all their containers fast enough to get held up in customs and stuff, and they just don't have like a good flow of like material and stuff. But yes, if you know carpet, and if not, Home Depot has carpet that's comparable. So they're like $5 a yard at Wood Floors Plus, but for like $7 you can go to Home Depot, and most houses are only like, I don't know, 150 yards, 200 yards. So we're only talking about like a $300 to $400 difference if you did have to buy it from Home Depot. We'd like to get it from Wood Floors Plus, though. They got the best stuff if they have it. And I don't know, if I haven't checked, but I don't think carpet's low. But the click to death there is, because I think that's like the big thing they sell.
Okay, cool. And then we have some holes in the floor just for like the old vents. Should we get our general carpenter guy to fix that up before we get?
Yeah, for sure. Before you put the flooring down, for sure.
Yeah.
Yes, 100%. And have your guy fix it up. Probably cheaper. Just get somebody, especially if you've got somebody that's working well. Have them go patch all your holes and stuff for all the carpet and all the rooms. Get them all ready for flooring. That would actually be pretty smart to do to get prepared. And then you said you had some questions about the driveway. Talk to me about that very quickly.
Yeah. So as you know, it's like the 2 strips of concrete. I think when we were talking initially, when you saw it, we were going to bust up the concrete. So remove the concrete and then lay down the gravel. A lot of guys are saying that when I was speaking to some contractors, they said that, it'd be kind of tough. Like, they weren't sure how deep like the concrete actually goes down, just like 4 or 5 inches deep. And I've been trying to talk to guys about gravel, but they keep on bringing it back to like concrete. I don't know if there was
you're kind of talking,
there, but
if you're talking to a
source
concrete
the gravel?
guy,
Yeah.
so if you're talking to like a concrete guy, he's going to be like, gravel, what? Do concrete, right? It's like, to a hammer, everything looks like a nail. So, I mean, really, you just need somebody that's willing, like a laborer, and it takes no skills to do this. You get a jackhammer and just jackhammer up the concrete, get somebody to come, haul it away for you, and then have somebody to have a dump truck come and dump a bunch of rocks, so you can just, you have rocks down the driveway. That's it. That's how simple it is. I mean, it's like 2 guys for a day. So I don't know. I'd pay somebody.
Where would you get like is there a supply house? Yeah.
To get the rocks.
Okay.
Rocks. I mean, I think I bought them at King Mulch last time I bought them, and they were pretty, they'll bring all the rocks you need, and they're about $40, $50 a ton. You might need like 7 or 8 tons for that driveway. So, maybe $400 or $500 in rocks. They'll dump it right in the driveway, and then someone could just spread it. It would take like 2 guys, a couple hours to spread it all. But like I said, it might take them a day or 2. Sure. So you would probably be looking more like $500 of material, and no more than somewhere between like 600 to 1,000 in labor, max 1,000 in labor. Okay. So I mean, that's actually, and anyone talking, it's this, it's that, I don't know about that. Well, honestly, you don't even really need to take the concrete up. If you're, what you could do is just have somebody bust up the high spots, right? Just take any high spots so that way it's not sticking out the rocks, and then just pour rocks right over it. If you want to do rocks, you totally could do something like gray rocks right over it. The reason we were thinking no rocks, because wasn't it kind of a hill?
Yes, it kind of slants up a little bit.
So sometimes going
actually,
up a hill with rocks, I don't know how hilly it is, but if it's not too hilly, then rocks are fine. But if you feel like it's a lot of a hill, then if it's not too hilly, then rocks are fine. So then really you can lay it right over the concrete and over the grass, and and then just the only thing you'd want to get out if there's any concrete sticking up kind of high. You just chip it out real quick, and I'm talking, then that's more like an hour. So now we're definitely talking 400 or 500 versus like 800 or 1,000, because you don't even really need to haul away the concrete. You can literally just chip it up and leave it there. Just you want to flatten it down a little bit anywhere it's sticking up, but I don't know if it's actually even sticking up. If it is lower than the grass, then just pour it over top. You're going to put about that much rocks on, about 2 inches thick. I did a really big driveway recently. I think it was 7 or 8 tons we dropped, and that was a 17-foot wide by 42-foot long. And I think the truck dropped it and they had it all spread in 2 hours.
Oh, cool. All right. So you actually don't need to bust up. We might not need to bust up the concrete.
Yeah, you can go right on top of it, doesn't it? You feel like that makes sense, but look at it when you're there. I mean, why not just go over it? Really, the reason you would have to take the concrete up somehow was much higher and it was sticking out or something where you would see it. But I think the concrete was like lower than the grass, or at least level with the grass. So you can maybe just
it's pretty level.
Yeah, it's pretty level. Just go right over it and put the rocks right over it and spread it out. You and Cynthia can spread the rocks, honestly. Just get them to dump it. And you guys just start spreading rocks and then like rake them out, make them look level. It really isn't complicated, honestly.
And you said we contact, like, is it Mulch King or something?
It's King Mulch. I think it's called King Mulch, and they're on like Pulaski Highway, Route 40. And you just call them, tell them what you need, where you tell them, hey, I want to get it dropped in the driveway. Can your guy drop it in the driveway? So I don't have to try. You don't want to drop it in the street, because here's what will make it a lot of work: is if they drop it out in the street, you got to like carry it up a hill and stuff. Jeez, you got to wear out. But if you're smart, what you can do is you take it to the back of the driveway, and they'll go to dump it, and then say, hey man, can you kind of like drive forward as you're dumping it? So what they're doing is they're like dumping it across the driveway, so they're not putting it all in one big pile. They'll just like kind of loosely spread it out. So now they've done half the work for you. They generally will do that, man. Throw him $20 if he does. Here, man, here's $20 tip. Thank you. I mean, be persistent about it, that you don't want it dropped out in the street, or you don't, because they don't want them dropping it anywhere crazy.
Got it. So we just need to get someone to like lay down like the siding, or like the wood.
The wood for what?
For like the guardrail and the edges.
Oh, the edges. So all you do for the edges is just take and just make a little edge for the rocks to go into. You can do that with a shovel. So you just dig down flat and then just dig like a trench that the rocks would fall into. So it would kind of just fall right into that trench. So have you ever like edged around a flower bed, and you see where it has it's called a natural edge? The natural edge is going to be where you take like a flat shovel and just make an edge for the rocks to go into. Again, I mean, you and Cynthia could do this in a day, and this is 50 times better than a hike from a cardio standpoint. And I would say probably 100 times more fun than a hike. Probably 150 times more fun. Well, if you're putting like $600 in your pocket, I feel like that makes it more fun to me, right? That's just pure profit, man. Let's just make the money. That's real money. Yeah. But I don't know.
That's true.
The last hike you did, how much did they pay you? Yeah, I know the answer. Nothing. Nothing. And you probably got West Nile. So, I mean, it's just something to think about. You don't have to do that. You could help and get like a laborer to do most of the work and then just kind of guide them. If you got a laborer, general, somebody like that. So if you have someone that's doing some general labor around the house and clean up, you might get your demo guy to do it. Honestly, I think you just tell somebody and throw them a bone. Like if they get 2 guys on that, I think do that in half a day, like a couple hours even. So whoever's doing kind of your general, like, clean up stuff, just a little bit here and there, that's who you get to do it. Actually, for you, that could work for you too, because I know you need to extend your driveway. So instead of doing like concrete, you could totally just have someone just edge it all out and then just have a bunch of rocks dumped and spread out, and then make your driveway much bigger and wider.
Yeah, I was thinking about it. I actually wrote that plate.
Yeah, for sure. So that would work for you for sure, and it will save you a lot of money. And I have to tell you, I started doing rocks a couple of years ago. I haven't done concrete. I can't even tell you the last time I've done concrete. Seriously, I haven't done asphalt, concrete. I've been doing rocks for like 3 years now, and I haven't got one negative piece of feedback about it. Now, if you're in a much more nicer neighborhood, then you probably don't want to do rocks. But I don't really know of anyone right now doing a house in the neighborhood. Well, like Ben's house, I mean, maybe that wouldn't be a good fit. So I don't know. So anyhow, like, because that's in a very put together neighborhood that's kind of consistent. But all these houses we're doing, rocks are totally fine, I think. And if you make them gray, because they kind of blend in more, don't do the white ones because they stand out too much. And we kind of want the rocks almost to look like concrete and then just be what it is. So, anyhow, something to think about. Well, any other questions? Or are you good?
So far so good, I think.
Awesome, man. Good luck. Let me know how it's going.
Appreciate it.
How about anyone else? Anything I can help with? David, what's going on, man? You ready to list this thing or what?
Yeah, what's up? I got floors coming in on Monday, appliances on Tuesday, and
Sweet.
just got to get landscaping by next week. Trying to find somebody good that could do all that work. It's going to be a lot of man hours, man.
Yeah, for sure. But if it's a good landscaper, they'll roll through it.
Exactly. So I haven't found one yet, but I put a funnel out there. So
what are you looking to pay to do it all?
I think I put down $1,500.
Yeah, I mean, you might be $1,500, $2,000, whatever. It's all good as long as they knock it out quick.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'd need to be a little bit more flexible. So maybe I'll do that. Yeah. Be open to.
I can give you my landscaper's number if you want.
Yeah, heck yeah, man.
He's right around the corner working right now, so he could probably knock it all out for you. You probably, just let him know you only got like $2,000 or something. He's a little more expensive, so I don't use him on everything. But what he is really good at is making shit look good. So when I have something, I would say it's a little more complex like yours. Kind of like I would probably pay him the money to do it. Versus like I got some real simple stuff. Like I just did one in a row home in Baltimore, and it was just like a little bed out front with like 4 plants. I'm kind of like, I got the lady Kim that works for me to do it. I think it cost me $200 to do it. He can't come there for $200 or a bunch of dudes and stuff to do it. So, but when you get like something like yours, you totally could. So I don't use him all the time because there's really not really when you need him. But I feel like if you had him knock that out, it's going to cost you like $500 more. But he's going to come in and bang it out for you. One thing I can tell you for a fact, he'll be in and out there a couple of days, and the place will look sharp. And he knows what he does more than what I like him to do. So standard will look nice to you, but he won't overdo it. He won't come in and try to turn it to the Taj Mahal or anything, especially if you tell him he has so much budget.
Yeah, no, that sounds good, man. Appreciate it.
Save you the headache. I mean, he's good, and I have a hard time keeping him busy because I don't use him as much anymore.
Okay.
I'm cheaping out, trying to get the cheaper people to do it. But I found with the cheaper people, their work looks good, but it takes them kind of long, and they kind of hold my project up a little. So I'm realizing, okay, just let them do the easier stuff, let them do the harder stuff, because then it justifies the money I'm paying them. But the easy stuff doesn't really fit for him.
Okay. Yeah, thanks.
He did the Oasis. He knocked that out for me, which basically got destroyed in the hurricane yesterday with a bunch of branches everywhere and leaves. Like that's some crazy thing happened. I don't know. It was like a tornado was coming through yesterday or something. Tree limbs everywhere.
That sucks.
I know. I'm hoping. I'm trying to hang out here and hang out with you guys, and maybe Tanya will clean it up. She'll come out there and she actually cleaned up. I already know she isn't. She's like, no, I was waiting on you. I thought we could do it together. I'm like, oh, come on, man. I was trying to duck all that work. But mosquitoes and stuff. So cool, man. Well, then, so basically inside flooring, and then once you're done flooring, is there anything else impactful that needs to be done, or is it just?
No, that's pretty much it. I got a little bit of touch up. The electrician was in there doing most of the trimming, and he had to put some holes in there that drywaller didn't do. So I have a guy come in Thursday. I think he's coming out to kind of like do a lot of punch list stuff, nice. Like that, things like. So yeah, hopefully by Saturday, I should be good, man.
And then you're doing flooring. When's the flooring coming? You said
Monday. He's doing the guy's gonna do the carpet and the hardwood at the same time.
Oh, cool. So he's gonna do it all in a couple of days. He'll be out of there.
Yeah, probably like 2 days actually. I mean, they go up fast. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what are you paying to get the flooring installed?
$1.50 for the hardwood, and I think it's $3.50 a yard just for the carpet install. And he has carpet, so I think I'm paying like $1,300 for all the carpet, or $1,200. I have his invoice.
Seems cheap.
Yeah, he's pretty cheap. He did my rehab over in my first one, and I think Marlowe's used them now. Steve used them. So really? He's pretty good. Yeah, he's pretty good. Yeah, Gio. Yeah, he's really good.
And you guys, did Steve use them? Not for his tile, though. Steve used them for...
No, right. Steve just used them for carpet.
He didn't do tile or anything. He just does carpet and hardwood.
He just does carpet and hardwood, yeah.
Good. That's what you want. Someone's a specialist. He just does those two things.
Exactly. Oh, you know what? I do have a question about you, though, for you. you know, I just talked to Dana and he said HVACs are out, you know, like 2 weeks. So, you know, Goodman's. So he's going to get me like a American Standard, you know, he's going to try to get it in there next week. My only concern is, you know, once I put those floors in and I turn on that HVAC, I guess I need to turn that up slowly, right? So it doesn't ruin my hardwoods in there, you know, by temperature changing like that.
Well, you're basically just saying, because they need to acclimate, right? To the,
right, exactly.
As long as they're in the house, you should be fine. Acclimation really is much worse in the winter than it is like when it comes from like 20 degrees and goes into like a 90 degree. So right now you're going to be going from like 85 degrees in the house to like 70. I don't even make the house more than 76 anyhow. You don't need to get it down to 70 for sure. You don't want your AC running like that. So I usually leave it on like 75, 76. It's pretty easy to keep a house at 76.
That's true.
I have my new tiny house right now at 75, and it's like thing barely working to do that. But like 70 and 69, that's when you start making the thing work hard when it's hot out. So just keep it at like 75. I don't think you'll have an issue. I mean, you just don't blast it down to 50. And sometimes you got to watch your guys. A couple times I've come in, my guys had it like 62. I'm like, it'll freeze it over and blow it up. Like, you know, not just use a bunch of money, but it's not meant to be 62. When it's on 95 degrees out, it will not get to 62. It'll just run like crazy and it'll freeze. And then it'll kind of destroy it. So, you're good, man. I think you'll be fine. You know,
cool.
If you're worried about it, then all you do to acclimate is put the floor in the house for a couple days.
Okay.
So, and that the longer they sit in the house, the better you are. But, you know, if you also can just do it immediately too.
Okay.
I did for years, and they used to tell us to acclimate. Then I went to a place and worked for them for a couple of years, and they never acclimated, and I never seen the difference.
Okay, cool. Thanks, man.
Cool, you're welcome. Good luck, man. It sounds like you're close. So I might stop by and check it out because I'm going to be checking out Clarksworth tomorrow. So maybe I can stop by and check it out if you're going to be there.
Yeah, yep, absolutely. Cool. Thanks.
Bye. See you, man.
See you.
Doing my rounds, everything's in the same area. It's always good. Nancy, how's everything going? Driving back from Virginia?
Can you hear me?
I can, yeah. No, I can't hear you now. You're like a piano. That was like a piano. I was like, oh, no. No, I can't hear you. I think you're conking out. You look like it was going to work, and it was promising. And then when you went to talk, it died.
Driving back from vodka, we got everything out of amphibian.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to make it. Nancy, I can't understand you. You're going in now. I'll come back to you in a few minutes. You're probably just deep in Pasadena. You get a better signal area. Anyone else have any questions while we're waiting for Nancy to get some?
Mike, I had a question.
Signal? Sure, go ahead.
So I'm just trying to think of, I want to make sure I'm doing everything that I can in the time being, you know, while they're working on the HVAC and plug. So I'm
sorry.
At 9 o'clock. And then sorry, can you hear me? Can you hear me now? No, you're locked.
No. Hold on one second, Nancy. I'll come back to you in a minute. We can't hear you. Like, drive for a bit and I'll come back to you in a couple minutes when you got better signal. You're like Pasadena. Sorry, Ashley. What'd you say?
Yes.
You're working on HVAC, plumbing, and electric, or is that something you're going to be working on soon?
Yep, I'm working on HVAC and plumbing right now. Once the ductwork is in, then my electrician will come in.
Okay.
So I guess I'm just trying to think about what else I should be doing. So I decided that I should address the patio and all my little porches.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
Like, I have the front patio, and then I have like two porches, and then I need to add a deck. So I figured now might be time to do that.
If you can hire someone right now, why not? So what I love is when I'm doing rough-ins, I love to do exactly what you're thinking. I like to go outside and do all that outside work. And you got enough outside work that it makes sense to get on it, because it could take it could take a couple guys like 2 weeks to do the decks and paint the house and get the outside looking fresh and good again. Then that might be a little bit of work. So, patch any windows you've moved, things like that. So 100% if you can get someone. Here's the good news though. If somehow you don't find someone in your first couple days of running the funnel, well, there's no pressure. So take your time, find the right person. And when you feel comfortable with them, you feel like they can handle it, then give them like something small to start with. If they do well, give them a little more. Give them a little more if they keep doing well. So if they don't, then fire them and get on. Because like you could do this stuff on the outside today, or you can do it 3 weeks from now. And it's one of those things in your schedule. I love these, I call them like flexible items, right? Line items that are flexible. You always want to work on those as needed when you have downtime, but it doesn't matter if you do it at the beginning or the end, honestly. I don't like to wait too far to the end. And I definitely don't want to, when I could be doing it like you're doing right now, it doesn't make sense to hold up, right? You totally want to jump into it. So start with trying to find someone that'll clean your decks up, get your porch looking good, maybe do a little bit of that woodwork, build your small deck and get all that looking nice. And then once you do that, maybe find someone to paint the outside and get that all looking nice. And then you can start doing like shutters, mailbox numbers and all that. You can get into, by the time you're done all that, you'll probably be ready for sheetrock in your house. And
that's what I'm hoping. Okay. I wasn't sure if I could go all the way to painting or if I should wait for painting, but you're saying if I'm out there, go ahead and just
for painting the outside. So you paint the outside once everything's done though. So it's kind of like the inside. We don't like to paint the inside until we have all our trim and doors done. So on the outside, we don't really like to paint the outside though until all the decks are done. If they're going to be painted, you want to make sure all that stuff's done. If there's any windows you got to move out, that's been done. So you can paint that. So just get enough of stuff done so you can paint.
Okay.
I mean, you can paint early too, as long as those windows are filled in. So you do need to have those windows patched first.
Speaking of that, I did go out to the place in Hyattsville today and picked up all my windows. So
Awesome.
I got windows and they're going to start installing them tomorrow.
Well, that's good. So there you go. So now if they're painting the house now, they got to be careful not painting the windows, but that's fine. Either way, just get it done,
Yeah, I just figured because a lot of my windows, I had to remove all the wood around the windows, I guess, so that they could get the full measurement of the window, is what I was told, since they were older windows and they couldn't see. How it was explained to me is that they had to remove it. So once I removed the wood around it, the windows weren't as secure, of course. And then some of the windows broke. So it kind of became a thing that I needed to replace the windows like now.
I hear you.
So
no, go ahead and do it. And I'm glad you could get them that quickly because they've definitely been a little hard to get lately.
Yeah, so that worked out okay. And you're saying go ahead and tackle what I can outside.
Yeah, you asked me about the termite guy. Just let me remind me about that because I still need to. I asked him like 2 times what he could do, and he's supposed to get back to me. You did tell me it was like 1,000's actually pretty cheap because he's doing all that stuff. But I still talked to him, and he's like, "No, I can cut a little bit off. Let me talk with you about it." So let me just text my mom and ask her to call him because I put her on it, but she's kind of laid back.
Okay.
I don't want to. If I had to get on the phone with him, I'm like, "Come on, you can just talk to the guy and tell him give us a better price." Not that I think his price was awful, but I think it was, there's always room for a little negotiation.
Yeah, I mean, if you think it's if you could bring it down a little bit, that would be better. But if you're thinking that it's an appropriate price for it, then I'll just have to make it work. Because when I actually bought Terminex in, they actually ended up being more expensive. But I think that's because they were trying to address other issues besides just the termites.
They were trying to do bed bugs or something too? Or no?
Yeah.
Is there bed bugs in the house?
So there was a wall that had bed bugs on it, which is weird. But she was saying she doesn't know if it's anywhere else in the house. So of course they wanted to treat the whole house, which is why it was like she quoted $1,500 for the bed bugs.
Those places just want to treat everything. I feel like they're just kind of like, let's just treat it all. I also feel like you got trolls in the basement. Like we don't need troll traps.
It was like bed bugs, and then of course it was like so I'm just like, I don't know.
She's probably like this, like, I don't know, I think you might have bed bugs and trolls in the basement. I mean, let's do troll proofing for 400 more. I don't know. I mean, the 1,000, I still had a question. I've never had him give me $1,000 price, and then you told me to charge you $90 versus $75. So I told her just to make sure that the pricing is our pricing, that you're getting the pricing we get. Yes, she said, yes, I'll get back to you. So I told her to check with him again because I told him that I needed an answer. So we can get on it. And so we didn't hear anything, but you want to get it done soon. You don't need it done until after. You don't even really need it done before you close up, but it would be nice to do before you close up your sheetrock. So let me check with him and just make sure and get him out there. He's usually pretty quick and efficient.
And then for like the outside, so the areas that are underneath the roof, the kind of wood areas there. Do you put flashing do you put metal or do you just paint it?
You mind taking some pictures for me so I can see it? But I think I know the answer, but if you send me some pictures, I can probably answer better. just to make sure I'm not giving you bad advice. But I think that you can do two ways. I have put soffit under it, and that's going to cost a little bit of money if you do it, but it'll look nice. But we might be able to just paint it and make it like without soffit. You don't always need soffit for that. So I have seen it where they just paint it white and then just put some gutter on the outside, and it looks good too. It's actually kind of the look that goes with that house.
Is the soffit metal? Like the
The
metal?
soffit is like plastic. Yeah, it's like plastic. So, and that's on the bottom. So basically kind of the overhangs like this. Under it is soffit, but then on the outside front is metal, and then there's a gutter goes on that in front of that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we need like a drawing thing. I could drawing stuff on there.
I think only because I was just looking at it today. I think I understand what you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, if you send me a pic, I can usually draw on the pic or something and kind of tell you what I'm saying. But yeah, so you can put the soffit under it, but I have had times where you just have metal on the front gutter, and then you can see the wood, and it's all painted white, and it's kind of a cool look, and it actually goes with that style house. You'll see that quite often with that style house.
Okay, and then I had sent you some pictures, I think, last week. You requested of the actual patio and the stairs, because I was trying to figure out your thoughts if I actually need to, if I could just take the top layer off and just like put wood down, and if you think I need to redo the whole stairs, or if I could just refinish it.
I'm trying to find where you sent it to me.
Okay. It was it was a text. I don't know if
Yeah, that's what I was going to find. Okay, it might be. Oh, I can put a search in 1 second. Let's see. Okay, so the last text I got, that's June 29th. That's Bobby Schaefer. I don't think they came through. Sometimes pictures don't come through because I don't see anything. Because I didn't see any pictures from you, actually. That's why I was wondering. It didn't sound familiar.
Like
I got, well, that might be the problem. Sometimes sending like 10 pictures don't always go through. But the last text I got from you is where I sent you something like says Bobby Schaefer, give her a call. And that was June 29th. So maybe you can just try sending it through again. It could have got like called up sometimes. Sending that many pictures doesn't work that well. You try to send them separately or something instead of trying to send them all in one.
Here, I'll just resend them right now to you. Okay. That's So that means you didn't see the pictures of the framing either, right?
No.
Okay. That's interesting. All right. Well, now I know you didn't just ignore me.
No, I normally won't. I mean, or sometimes it might take me a day to get back from middle stuff, but not normally, no. So just send them to me maybe like separately and they'll come through. And then if you don't hear something back, I'll at least confirm I got them. Okay. I'll look at them and get back with you, okay?
All right. If they come through, let me know.
Okay.
I think that's really it, though. Just trying to figure out that so then I can know what to do with this, since I'm going to try to tackle the stairs in this coming week.
So is this the stairs? Are you talking about inside stairs or outside stairs?
Outside. These
okay.
are not.
Yeah. So let me send me some pictures and I'll tell you. But normally you can just fix them up. You don't have to rip them out.
Okay.
Usually can repair them. I mean, there's very few situations where I rip everything out. I generally can just fix things up. I don't remember them being so bad that they need to be ripped out. But there definitely probably always is some repairs you need to do. So let me look at them and I'll give you a feel for it. But I'm pretty sure you could just repair it. But people do like, yeah, let's just do all new. It'll be easier. But it's actually a lot easier not to do all new.
Of course, telling me that, and I'm like, I don't think that's what I need to do here. So.
Not usually. Yeah, not usually. So. Oh, cool. The images are coming through now. So.
All right, you make it a whole bunch because I'm trying.
I know what it is. You know what it is? I turned off my. I was having a hard time getting cell phone signal, so I found out that I have something called LTE, and it's actually what makes my Wi-Fi work well. But when you turn the LTE off, my phone signal went back up. But then like pictures coming through on my Wi-Fi went down, which I don't know. At my house, I don't care, but I'm like I have to be able to talk on my phone, and no one could hear me. People are like, I can't hear you. You're breaking up. So I turned that off and it's been working like a charm, but then I got to like go to both. I got to go back and forth to try to make sure one works when I need it versus the other. But usually the Wi-Fi is fine at the house. Anyhow, that's long-winded tech story. But
how many did you get now?
I got 2, it looked like. But let's see. Okay, I got a bunch of them coming through. They're downloading slowly though.
All right. Well, if you want to move on to somebody else,
yeah,
maybe
I'll check them out.
You could come back to me.
Oh, did you call me from multiple different phones potentially?
No, I have one number. I have different emails.
Oh, there's the steps, and now I see all the pictures. Oh, maybe I was looking under something else. I don't know, whatever.
You must you didn't type
because there's Bob there. No, there's Bobby Schaefer, but then here's like 700 other texts after that I didn't even look at. So okay, let's walk me through what you're seeing. So your porch in general, like so right where that little wood is, it has like plywood at the end. You can just take some boards like you see right there and just kind of basket weave that in a little, or even just put some boards and paint it and you're fine. You don't need to rip it all out because it's so much easier to just get some like wood and then just paint that. And that way you save you from like, you can't leave the plywood in there, obviously. So all you got to do is patch it in. That's fine. The steps itself. Yeah. So there's a couple plywood spots here. So I would recommend just kind of repairing it, but your steps are fine. You can definitely repair those. I think you just kind of need to repair everything. Okay. And then remember this. So yes, I do remember. Okay. These are coming through. Yeah, I definitely didn't get these pics though. I never remember seeing these.
That's so weird.
But now they're here.
And then do you see the one that shows like the whole top of the porch yet? Like it's like a long view. So you can kind of see it looks like there's a couple areas where they had like that. I guess maybe plywood.
Are you talking about the ceiling or the floor? Oh yeah, right here. The floor. So yeah, there's plywood in a couple spots. So they won't let you put plywood, but if you literally just in that same spot took boards and just filled it in with boards, it don't matter how the boards go in. It just matters. The only reason this wouldn't fly is because they won't let you use plywood outside.
Okay.
But if you were to take and put 1x in it and then paint it all, it could look just like it looks now. So it's not the look that's the problem. It's that when you paint it, they're going to be like, oh, you can't have plywood out. That stuff don't hold up. That's it.
That's like a inspector would say something about that.
Yeah, an inspector, not like probably a home inspector more than anything. But so if you just take and pop out those couple patches and just put like 1x in them, it don't even matter how it looks. Just throw some 1x in them and make it look nice, and that's it. And then once you paint it, it's all going to blend in anyhow. That would be the cheapest way to do it because otherwise you could rip it all up and do like all new deck boards. Tilly can do that, but that's going to cost you like $1,000 or $1,500. So it's going to be a little more money. Okay.
Yeah, and I have a lot of that to think about. So.
Yeah, exactly. It might be that like repairing it. I don't know. Maybe it's worth putting it in. It's kind of up to you. I think we can sell it anyway. Seriously.
Okay. Well, good to know.
Once it looks good, and they're not going to be looking at those little details. They're going to be looking at the house when they walk in that and how good that is.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then did the pictures come through for the framing or no?
Let me see. Well, framing inside, I see some framing. Are we basically talking about these like these load bearing, like the joists?
Yeah.
Okay, got
that.
Did
you want me to show you the joists? I don't know. The income might be the greatest, but
I mean, it looks decent to me from what I'm seeing. It's kind of tough to tell, but I mean, I don't see anything that looks crazy. You got that long. Is this wood? This don't look like micro lambs. Are these micro lambs?
The long piece?
Yeah.
I think it's LVL.
LVL, yeah. Okay, good. So you need, because is that what she told you to do? Is 2x12? Yeah. Just 2 of them? Okay. Well, should be good then. If she told you to do it, then that's fine. I mean, it looks done properly. I don't see anything standing out from the work standpoint.
Okay. Cool beans.
That I would know. I mean, I don't know every little detail, but it seems fine. It doesn't like glaringly stand out.
Okay. Well, that's
Okay.
good.
How about what did you end up working out with him? How much did you end up giving him? Because I know you were talking about back and forth of like how much to give him.
Yeah. So I think I ended up giving him 4.
Okay. So basically what so everybody knows, Ashley was going through some with a guy she's been working who's been pretty good. Like she likes him, trusts him, seems like he's pretty good. She gave him $4,000, so I'm assuming she likes him, right? Obviously, if she didn't like him, she wouldn't be giving him $4,000.
Mm-hmm.
That part I know about you, right? Knowing very little, I know you're not giving anybody money unless you feel comfortable with them. So with that being said, what I kind of told her was like she's in a little bit of a unique position because like the time we sometimes have to give money out is like HVAC, and it's not really plumbing as much, but HVAC because they do buy a lot of material, and it's one of the biggest risks we take when we do a rehab because they can just take that money, run and disappear, or do bad work and come back and do half the job, and it does open us up a little bit. So basically, what I told her was whatever she gives him, she has to be willing to lose. So if she gives him $4,000 and the guy disappears, you can't really get too butthurt about it, right? You can't go to beside like I got failure, house flipping, I quit. Right, you're gonna have to be like, oh, that sucks, and so don't give anyone money that you couldn't live without, right? I mean, I know that she wouldn't be happy about losing $4,000, but if it was like she needed that or she couldn't pay her mortgage, I'd be like, do not give that money because that money is going to disappear. If she does that 20 times, it's going to happen at least a few times. If she does it once now, she's done it with this guy. So if he does a good job, then, you just have to be cautious. So you don't end up giving him more and more money because you can take the same person. What I've seen this happen before. We have somebody does really well. We give him a certain amount of money, does 5 to 7 jobs for us. And all of a sudden, then we give him a little more money and it just happens to be too much money and then they disappear. So it is like, always be working them down. Like always be working on less and less money to them and not letting them take you into more and more money because they will take more money than they need. Like it's just one of those things. And they take too much money and then they make a bad choice with it, which isn't uncommon. Then you end up kind of in that spot, right? So it's like basically your money's always at risk. So your job now is, even though he sounds like he's doing a good job for you, your job now is to every job try to get, less money. Hey, now we got a relationship, less money, not more money. Because he's thinking the opposite, like, oh, well, next time I'll get the 5,000. The next time, hopefully, you can give him 3,500 or 4,000 max, right? You want to really keep it affordable, and you want to think that way. The reason we think that way is because, like, just anytime you give money out, there's a risk that he's going to take that $4,000 and get in a car accident. You're never going to get it. Try calling his wife and saying, "Hey, I gave him $4,000. You mind sending that back to me?" Or more likely, what will happen is, someone will offer him a little bit of crack rock and then it's all over. Or, they'll pay their bills, or the Maryland Live just opened back up. So he could be there, like, sure bet at the blackjack table or, the Wheel of Fortune slot machine. Everyone thinks they can beat that. So he might be, who knows? That's the thing. You just don't know. And honestly, best way not to be in a situation where you like hate someone because they ripped you off for a bunch of money is just don't put a bunch of money in their hands. So keep it to a minimum, and when you're working with other people, really don't do it at all. HVAC's one of the few times where it is very costly to buy all the material, so they do have a legitimate reason to ask for money. Every other one, you're buying material, and it's just anytime they're asking for money, that's not cool or smart. It makes zero sense, and it's going to get you in trouble. HVAC's one of those few times. I think Petey ended up negotiating, and he ended up giving like I don't know, he gave a guy like 2,000 or 2,500, but that was just for HVAC. So, and again, I told him the same thing: just be cautious. You could end up losing it.
Yeah. So far it seems okay. I spoke to him. I actually saw him today, and he said he's supposed to get them on Friday. The duck.
Oh, duck work. Okay. What about all the units and everything, all the work? Because that's really where the money is.
So that I'm not sure when that's going to be ready.
Well, ask them about the units because remember, did you hear what someone just said that the units are kind of back ordered? I've heard that too. So I don't know if you're using a heat pump, which is ran by electric, or if you're trying to use a gas unit. But a gas unit is actually, and did he tell you if he's using a 4-ton unit or a 2.5 ton?
He said 2.
A 2-ton unit?
Mm-hmm.
You can't put a 2-ton unit in that house. That house was way too big for that. So you need a 4-ton unit. First of all, 2.5 tons go in row homes, like Marlowe's home in Edmondson Village. That's like a 1,100 square foot row home. That's a 2.5 ton. So 2.5 ton is rated up to like 1,600 square foot, so around 1,000 to 1,600 square. A lot of people won't even put it at 1,600. That's 2.5 ton. 4 ton is rated up to 2,000 to 2,100. You're sitting in around 2,000 square foot from what I remember, correct?
I'm about 22.
22. So yeah. Like a lot of people are going to tell you need 2 units there, but I know you don't. You can put a 4 ton unit in there. So you got to be really clear. You can't put a 2 ton unit in there. I don't know from an inspection standpoint. I don't think they'll let you do that or if they care, but I can just tell you, you won't be able to sell the house because a 2 ton unit is unacceptable. The only place you would use a 2 ton unit is in a row home, like a little teeny row home. 2.5 ton is standard. 2.5 ton is actually cheaper than 2, often because it's more commonly used, and 4 ton costs more than 2.5 ton. So, I mean, obviously, a 2 ton unit does not work for that house under any circumstance.
Okay, I'll talk to him again, make sure we were on the same page. But
make sure he's not, because he could. I mean, honestly, he needs to pony up. You're paying him a fair number, but I think that obviously if you're using a 2 ton unit, then it's not a fair number for you because that 2 ton unit's cheap, but it's not enough. It's like what you put in your trailer or something.
Yeah, because even when I had looked it up myself, I had saw 4 ton too.
Yes.
But,
yeah, 4 ton is going to be good for that house. Some people, like the point I was going to make is some people even try to convince you that's not enough. We've had many students where they're like 4 ton, are like, no, you need 2 units, or like they're just trying to oversell you, and it sounds like he's trying to undersell you, kind of like, which doesn't make no sense because we don't want to put a 2 ton. No HVAC guy would put his name on a 2 ton. No way that would run that house. By the time you got to the second floor, it wouldn't even be able to push enough.
Okay.
So it's like no air on the second floor because just not meant for that. It's meant for, I think, like Marlowe's house, his row home he did, he put a 2 or 2.5 ton. And I don't know. I think that well, Pete's not on, but I don't know. And David, did you have to put an HVAC unit in yours?
I'm sorry, Mike. Did you ask me a question?
Yeah. Did you put an HVAC unit in yours?
Yeah, I'm putting a heat pump in there, 4 ton.
4 ton, yeah. So David's house is smaller than yours, but not much smaller. It's like 1,900 square feet, so it's pretty big. And then Glory, I think same thing. She probably put a 2.5 ton in hers. Now she probably put, I don't remember what she put in hers. Steve probably put a 2.5 ton in his because he has a row home.
Pretty in my row home. In my last one, in my one on 1700 Street, it was 2 ton.
2 ton, okay, and that works too, by the way. So that works for a row home because row homes also have like because they're block walls and they have houses on the side of them, they stay insulated more, so they don't actually take quite as much heat. They don't lose as much heat, so you can go a little less on a row home. But anyhow, just confirm it's 4 ton. And for everyone else who don't, hopefully everybody else got like some of the basics of HVAC. So essentially you need like a 2 ton can be up to like 1,000 to 1,300 square feet. A 2.5 ton goes up to 15 to 1,700 square foot max. And that's above grade, by the way. They don't count below grade in that number. And then usually the next step up, you can get a 3.5 ton or 3 ton, 4 ton, but usually like 2.5 to 4 is the jump you make because oddly, like a 3 ton can cost more than a 4 ton because it's just such a weird unit that no one uses. Most people use 2, 2.5, and 4. And 2.5 being the most common. So that generally the best deals you'll find are on the 2.5. And then it does cost about $800-900 more if you get a 4. So it can be up to $1,000 more for a 4. But a 4 ton does a 2,000 square foot house pretty easily. And you're going to get the right air and everything through the house. No home inspector is going to give you any crap about it. If you did 2.5 ton on a 2,000 square foot, then you're probably going to have home inspectors saying, I don't know about that. Maybe even the inspector. I'm not so sure if the inspectors care, but they might actually care about that.
No, I'll make sure it's a 4 then. And then when do you use this? I won't be putting in the outside unit until like closer to being done, right?
Well, I like to put it in before that because, but if you were, it's gonna be really hot in there. It's kind of freaking hot right now. So it's hard to work in 90-degree weather. So I do like to put it in. A lot of times people say don't put it in, and you do have to worry about somebody stealing it. So that is one of the things. But if people are working there regularly, then you don't have to worry about that. Crap. Can't get that off.
Yeah, I am kind of concerned about stuff being taken. They took some gutters that I had in the back.
Well, then if you are concerned about that, then pay a couple bucks and ask them to put a guard around it. There is like a crate they can put around it, like a steel cage, and it's like $300-400 to put a steel cage around it. I'd probably put that around either way because you think they might steal it, which that is a neighborhood, which is I have had stuff stolen from me in that neighborhood. So it's probably worth an investment of $300-400 to put a cage around it. In general, just so they don't steal it. But what you do need, here's the thing. You can't wait for him to put all the unit and everything at the end because that's where all the cost is. So like a 4-ton unit costs around $3,000. So if he, a lot of times they like to do all the work, and this happened to Marlo actually. I had to get my guy to come help him out, but Marlo's guy did the same thing. He's like, no, I'll come put the unit at the end. And then Marlo basically owed him like $1,000 or $1,200 or something. And that was like the unit he needed to buy. It was like $2,000. And Marlo, like, and I told Marlo, and I'm like, that's why he's not coming back. And Marlo waited on the guy forever, like, because he gave him money, so he was like, crap, I couldn't get anyone else to do it cheaper. Eventually, I was like, dude, let me just get my guy in there for like $1,800 or whatever it was, $2,000, $2,200, I don't know, but a lot cheaper. And it was not a lot cheaper. Well, it was a lot cheaper than what he was trying to charge. But the thing was, his guy was never coming to do it for that price, because the way you got to look at it, no one's coming to work if they got to take money out their pocket to come to work. And that's the way they feel. So when you pay them too much and they get to the end where they've only got like $1,100 owed to them, but they got to put $1,800 out of pocket, zero chance they're coming to do it usually. I mean, it's going to be, I even remember a time, as honest as I am, and I have always been around money and paying people back. I remember a time when someone paid me like way more money than I needed up front. And I remember a time me talking to myself saying, man, I'm like working for free. Same shit that the people do now. And I like caught, but I'm, at least I was smart enough back then to say, well, no, I'm not. I got paid, but it felt like I was not making anything, because I'd already got paid the money. So like emotionally, it made me feel like I was getting ripped off. It's kind of stupid, right? It doesn't make any sense, but even me, I remember thinking that. So yeah, so make sure this is a really good question. I'm glad we're talking about this. So if he's going to be getting paid a big portion of the money and you're going to like only hold a third till the end, then make sure he's got the interior unit in. It would be nice to have the exterior unit in so you can actually get some AC going through the house. And you don't really know if the work he's done is any good if you can't fire up the AC and see how it's flowing. Make sure you get air out of everything. So it's kind of tough to know. Like, so I would try to get it all up and running and pumping. And then you can pay him for all the AC if he does that. Then you just pay him for everything AC-wise and hold a third of the plumbing. I kind of prefer that because I don't mind. And what you do is then turn it off and put it on a sign saying when they're doing sheetrock to don't turn it on so you don't get a bunch of stuff all through your filters. But I kind of personally like to have some AC in the house when it's like 100 degrees out, because it's kind of a bad working environment for your people.
That's true. All right.
So you want to be a slave driver and a corporate war pig, then don't have any AC in the house. But no, but I would get that cage, and the cage, for everyone who doesn't know, it's like a cage they put around it. It's like $300-$400. It's kind of a standard thing in Baltimore because they do like to steal the units a lot. And so I would probably
have people who, I guess I would just have him get it when he picks up the unit.
Yeah, he probably, if he's done a lot of HVAC, then he probably knows how to get them. Usually an HVAC guy knows how to get them. It's not uncommon to do.
Okay.
So he should know. He should be able to do something like that for you.
Okay.
You need to check in with me if there's any questions, though, because I feel like it's always when you pay somebody $4,000, they're going to want more. I can feel like we started off with giving him way too much money. Like, it's more money than he needed, just for the record. He did not need $4,000 to get started. The ducts cost $1,200, and he has $4,000. So if he come in and did all the ducts for you, and then I guess if he roughed in the plumbing, you'd be good. You'd probably be close to $4,000. But I have a feeling he's going to be always wanting to stay ahead of you. And at some point, the work's going to be a problem is when he's ahead of you, but then he owes you more work, like a lot more work than you owe him money. That's when they tend to fade out. So we're going to have to try to make some kind of
even arrangement, which was like every 2 weeks and something like that. And I was like, because he uses Squarespace, so I guess I don't know if he said it's an automatic thing, but I was like, I'm not paying you like that.
No, so. Stupid. Exactly. I'll pay you every day if you finish what you need, but I'll pay you when you're done. Of course not. I mean, Squarespace is goofy anyhow. Which is
do you think he would? What do you think would be the next time I should pay him then? Like after all the duct is in and the first set of pipes, I guess, for the plumbing then?
For the rough end for the plumbing. And yes, for $4,000, he should be able to cover doing all the H ducts and doing the rough end for the plumbing. And that would probably get you pretty warm on what you need done. And then you would owe him was $11,000 total, right? So you owe him $7,000 more. Mm-hmm. So, okay, probably at the end, you'll want to hold like $2,000. Then what I would ask them to do is get all the ducts, get all the HVAC hooked up in the units and everything, and then ask them about an outside unit, pay them additional if you need to. I get all that hooked up and running so you can walk through the house and make sure everything's coming out cool. There's air blowing out the ducts, and just there's a duct in every room, right? That's something you don't have to be super smart to figure out because you can just be like, is it working or not? You'll have windows in by then, so it'll all be good. And so if that's all working, then you can give him more money. And then all you're really going to owe him on is like the 1/3 of the plumbing. So maybe like you hold $2,000 at that point or something. I don't know. So, you definitely, once you're getting into that point, that's where you want to be. So I think, yes, if he does the rough end of the ducks in and does that, then $4,000's you're not doing bad if that's the case.
All right, I'll let you know.
They are supposed to get approvals though, so they're supposed to get like a call in for their inspections, and that's when they get their second third, and they get their last third when they come to the final.
Yeah, I talked to him about the permits today. He was saying he wanted to get started first. He wanted to get the ductwork in first, just because of, I guess, the short amount of time that you have with the permits. I guess he was trying to extend my time with the permit. I don't know.
None of that makes any sense again. The bigger issue is, you heard Gloria, I don't know if you were on the call earlier, but her big complaint was that she can't do anything because she don't have her permits, and they're taking.
I heard that. She's in the county though, right?
She is in the county. It's faster in the city, but the bottom line is he needs to get his permits, because you could get busted right now and get a fine. You don't get a short amount of time. You get 6 months with the permits. I don't even know what that means.
Is it 6 months for the HVAC permit?
It's 6 months for everything. I've never heard anybody running out of time.
Okay.
So, I mean, I get what he's saying, but just in general, just let's do it the way we're supposed to do it. So, and I'm sure this isn't like, he's not doing this out of bad will or anything. I just think he's thinks a little crazy sometimes. So just ask him if he can pull the permits, because if he doesn't pull the permits, then how do we know he can even pull the permits? The fact he's trying to put a 2.5 ton or 2 ton in there suggests he might not even be able to pull the permits. You don't know what he's doing. Makes me nervous.
Yeah, he does have another HVAC person who's licensed who he's working with. So.
Yeah, well, they wouldn't actually approve of a 2-ton unit. So anyhow, tell him to get those permits going. That's important. Because that's important to get going, and I think you need to get the permits going. And because right now he's got $4,000, and then he's talking about starting ducks. I mean, he ain't done much then. So you're still kind of in that spot where he's got your money, but you ain't really got a lot in return. So you want to kind of shorten that window as much as possible and get him getting some stuff done.
Okay. I'll keep you posted.
All right. That's my best advice with him.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, man.
Are you still pulling permits, or are you still not pulling permits? That's the real question.
I never pull permits if I don't have to. I mean, I'm living the gangster life, dude.
Gotcha.
Well, so I'm pulling a permit for windows right now is what I've been doing for the city.
Okay, and I think that's what I'm probably going to do going forward, is just trying to get your take on how's that been working for you so far. Because I know you said you've been busted a few times in the past.
No, I haven't been busted. Well, first of all, my guy stopped doing the window thing. It was working really well in the past, but I need a bigger sample size right now. I've done it on a couple houses and it's worked well. So, but I only got a couple house sample size right now. So I can't imagine that it hurts. Look at it like that. Look, here's the best way to look at it. And the question is, if you're asking, hey man, like I think sometimes when people ask like, how's it working? They're really asking, like, do you think I'll get caught? Yeah, I know you'll get caught if you do it enough. But the question mark really is how often will you get caught versus how often you'll get away with it? Because it's just a math model. So if we know that we're saving often a couple thousand minimum, maybe up to like $5,000 or $10,000 even, not just because you can do a couple things differently, but you can work faster, you can work more freely. And if you're saving like say $7,000 a house, when you get busted, it costs you like $5,000 to $7,000 to fix it. It's in that ballpark. It's not the end of the world. But basically, every house you get busted costs you $7,000, and every house you don't get busted costs you like $5,000 or $6,000. So it's kind of like if you can get away with it 5 times and get busted once, then you're crushing it. You're making $35,000 to every $7,000 you're losing. But you really need to be smart and make sure you understand when you're likely to get busted. There's some scenarios where you'll get busted most of the time. And if like if you're on the waterfront or if you're in the inner harbor, like going down doing a city house, those are going to get busted quite. If you're in a historical neighborhood, if you're in an uppity white neighborhood where everybody's in your business, you're going to get busted more often. So I pull permits in those areas. I'm in Annapolis. I'm pulling permits. Those people are too uppity. Like they're all in your business and like, is that is I got the chap on it. Oh, I like that piece of, they're all looking in your windows and stuff because they ain't got nothing else to do. Because, like, I don't know. I feel like when you're poor, you're like, I got to eat. They got nothing to do, so they got to look in people's windows, and they're all nosy. It's like this weird nosy thing with people with money. So you got to pull permits there, right? But when you get into the hood a little bit, kind of where we work, where it's like a little bit more working class, I don't know, people mind their business a little more. And that's what you got to look into. So if you feel like you're in a neighborhood where you're not like on Main Street, you're not doing a ton of outside work. I also notice if you do decks, you get busted a lot. So decks are really big. When you do a deck, you tend to get busted quite often. Decks are hot for whatever reason, and they do get you in trouble. So Michael Chow in Toronto was like, oh, I did a deck and they busted me. And I'm thinking like, yeah, they bust me every time I do one too. I get away with decks like 1 out of 3 times. So I kind of pull permits for decks right now because I'm getting busted more often than not. But when I'm on like Clark's work, the reason I put a pool permit on Clark's worth is because it's like 75, 80K in renovation. It's pretty big rehab. It's your first rehab. It makes sense to pull the permits, I think, because, you know, in general, I feel like you're going to get caught quite often. But I would bet that you probably could do Clark's worth without permits like 3 times, would be my guess, and you probably get caught once. So it's probably even still profitable, but I like to look and think that I can get away with this at least 5 times to 1. Because then it just makes so much sense because there's a little bit of an emotional headache that comes with getting caught. So, I mean, honestly, if you were like doing it every 2 times and getting caught a 3rd time, then yes, you'd be profitable, but the headache might not be worth it. But if you're in a situation where you know you're going to get away with it a lot, then don't pull the permits. That's up to you. But you can always ask me and I can take a look at where you're at and give you like, hey, man, it's pretty solid. You got a pretty solid risk here of getting caught or not getting caught.
Gotcha. Thanks, Mike.
You're welcome. But I don't know. Most people just teach you just pull permits on everything, but I don't think you have to. I don't have any issue selling them for you. If I'm selling them for you, the permits I've never not been able to work through that yet. I've had some people say some stuff about it, but I just talk them right out of it usually. Because as long as your work looks good and your house ain't a piece of crap, then people generally still want it. You know, especially right now, there's no inventory.
So, Mike, when you get the window permit, you just get the window permit. They don't come out and check anything. They
don't. No, that's why I get the window permit, because they won't come out for that. But it's a permit to hang in the window, and often if you just have something hanging in the window, it's enough to. Because look, the people that bust you are never the inspectors. I can't even tell you a time I've been busting inspectors like a rode by and see you doing work. It's always the neighbors calling on you. The neighbors don't tend to be GCs, so they're not usually climbing up on your porch and reading the permit, what's on it, and are you working within scope? They just tend to like, oh, did they pull permits? And if they see a yellow like thing hanging on the front, they feel like you pull permits. They generally like don't bother calling. Also, if they do call and there's some work going on, the permit person might even sometimes be like, hey, he's got a permit for windows. Like, what's going on? And like, oh, okay, he's got a permit to do work. They might not even check in any farther.
Gotcha.
Depending on the day, right? You got to get lucky. Some days they're going to want to investigate sometimes. But it gets them. They won't call as often on you, and when they do call, it gives you even a secondary potential of like a low potential of them just not coming out. If they say work's going on and you have no permit at all, then they're coming out 100% of the time.
Makes sense. Thank you.
Got time for one more question, and I'm out of here.
So 9 o'clock tomorrow?
That's not. You used the last question on that, Pete?
No, we're not using the last question.
Oh, dude, that's bad, man. Someone had like a life-changing question they wanted.
Is there anything that we should consider with our doors, or is it literally just measure and width? Is there anything that is?
I don't know the answer to that. Anything you should consider on your doors other than what, like how they swing is something you consider. Make sure they're swinging the right way.
No, I guess how thick they are. Does that affect anything? How wide the door jamb is?
I know you just get a regular door. Remember I was telling you most of them we're just going to go ahead and put the doors in, and then we're going to have to put a little extra one by to make it work.
Okay.
They only come standardly, like I think they're 4 inches thick. But you had some doors that look like they were 6 inches thick. So you put the 4-inch door and put it all to one side, and then you're going to have that little bit of difference, and you're just going to make it up with like a little strip of one by. You're going to have to custom put some one by in. Did you guys ever talk to anyone about doing the doors and trim?
Not yet.
What about your one guy? He didn't want to do it, or you couldn't work that out with him?
He was a little busy, so couldn't really work that out with him. But we have a staircase guy who just finished up and a tile guy who's working. So we're just going to stack them because they all could do other stuff.
Yeah.
So we're just going to see who's kind of like done first and move on to the next stuff.
Well, so I mean, you can get your doors and trim done now, so it's important to get those things done, and then that'll keep you moving. But find someone to do that. That's easy stuff, by the way. That's the stuff my guys usually get excited about. The doors and trim actually are kind of like the easier job.
Right.
A lot of things being done. Those doors need a little bit of extra love and a little bit of custom work, but they're still doable.
Gotcha. Now, question about the doors. So, like, we got like some small doors. They're like 28 inches, which I mean, they're not usually like 28 inches wide. They're not usually like in store at Home Depot. I was trying to check.
Maybe not 28. 28 isn't, but 26 is. Is the hole actually 28? Because the door you get is always 2 inches smaller than the hole.
Gotcha. So the hole was 28.
So then you would get a 26, and then 26s are in stock, I believe.
Gotcha. Okay.
If they weren't, a 24 would be in stock, and then you would just pad it in and make it work.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. That works then.
Okay. They should have what you need, though. The only time I think under like 18 or something, they might not have it, but check and see. I think I'm right about that. They generally have whatever door size you need.
Gotcha. Okay.
Somehow they didn't. You would just go smaller and just kind of pad it in a little bit and go a little bit smaller if you need to, but I don't think that's the case.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. That works. We'll get that going.
Cool. Well, awesome. Let me know when you're on the trim and doors, and then obviously you got a lot of stuff going on, but get that going and you'll be moving towards the end. And you need a cabinet guy too. So I'll get a funnel out now for some trim and doors and a cabinet guy. Could be one and the same, by the way. Generally, anyone who can do trim and doors can do cabinets.
Gotcha.
I wouldn't use that guy who said I don't do cabinets because that guy's work was weird.
Yeah, I'm not using him anymore.
Yeah, he wasn't. His work's not that good. He did some weird stuff. And anyone who's like, I can't do cabinets, I feel like some of my people in the group can do cabinets now after watching it one time. It's not that complicated. So it's not be a very good. Well, Dave did cabinets and for the first time with like a helper. So like, not somebody saying they're a carpenter and they're like, I can't do cabinets. We're not asking them to do like a custom kitchen in $1 million home. We're talking about just doing some basic cabinets. That should be in any carpenter's right? Basically, everybody should do that. So if you get someone in, maybe they can do the cabinets for you. They can do the doors and trim and knock all that out. You need the cabinets done now because you need to get granite ordered, and it takes like a week and a half to get it. So the cabinets are kind of getting cabinets and doors and trim are pretty important. So I could make that your next step.
Gotcha. So cabinets are coming in on Thursday.
Okay, cool.
And then we should hopefully have them hung. And then so
if the door guy who does doors and trim, the guy does doors and trim, if he can do the doors, trims, and the cabinets, have him do the cabinets first and then do the doors and trim.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That way you can order the granite. I'll send you the granite guy's name if you want.
All right, yeah, please do.
He's awesome. You'll like him. I've been working with him forever.
Gotcha. Okay. I appreciate that.
Awesome, man. All right, cool. Yes, 9:00. I think I put it in already, but let me send you his name now. Cool. You guys both have. I sent them to both of you. Awesome, everyone. So that was a good last question other than 9:00. And let me double check and make sure we're good for 9.
And then I think we've asked this before, Mike, but the trim guy, will he do the accent wall for like the box molding? Or is that someone else?
No, the trim guy, he'll do it for sure. You just may tell him to do it, but yeah, he should do it when he's doing the trim because you want to do trim differently on that wall. Yeah, it's real easy for the trim guy. It's some super simple stuff. I've seen one of my guys do it by himself in like an hour and a half. It takes no time. It's super easy, man. It's like putting a puzzle together. It's like not hard at all. Requires like almost no skill to do that. But while they got the saws out and everything, yes, they can do that.
Yeah. Okay.
So see if you can get a general carpenter who will do like cabinets, doors, and trim. That should not be a hard person to find.
Yeah, no, that's not a hard person.
People generally get real happy about doing all that. If you find someone that does doors, trim, they might also be a framer. They can generally do a lot of stuff usually. Okay. Let me know how that's going, but I would start that funnel if you don't have someone in mind and start just talking to some people.
All right, that works.
Cool. All right, I'll see everybody later. I'll talk to you guys. Have a good evening.
See ya.
See you, everyone.